am your mountain and you are my sky. I am your water and you are my fire. And in love, we are writing the story of us. Yeah, in love, we are writing the story of us.
Hi, welcome to SerpentSong Sanctuary, to Annapurna Garden. I'm Xanna Seto, and I'm really glad you're here. I have been making a few videos now, and I want to kind of qualify what I'm doing. I am not an expert in any way, shape, or form in any of this. I moved out here to SerpentSong about 5 years ago. We started from scratch in this garden. It was an overgrown blackberry and nettle infested area, and horsetail. Don't forget the horsetails. No, you can't forget the horsetails. But it was just raw, completely raw. Once upon a time, someone had had a garden here. I found little signs of that activity, but for the most part, it was pretty wild. So I started from scratch, and I researched some things. I knew what my values were. I knew what the layout of the land was. I had an idea about where the sun came in and out during the seasons, during the progression of the seasons, really important. And I just dove in. I just started doing. And if you're new to gardening and you haven't started yet, then, I mean, you can plan all you want, but until you get in there and do it, you're never really gonna have an idea of what you want to do, because the garden has revealed itself to me. I had ideas, and I knew what my values were in implementing those ideas, and I didn't want to use pesticides. I didn't want to disturb the ecosystem too much. I didn't want to be in constant struggle in my gardening. I wanted more of a flow with nature. And so I found best practices that suited my needs and my intentions. And I just started from there. And as I worked through the garden itself, the land itself, nature herself, the plants themselves, all taught me what I needed to do. And that's what it's all about. It's kind of an ongoing process of reciprocity in both the energy that we give and take from the garden and the information as well. So one of my favorite methods for gardening that I found so far, and I just really started it this year, my strawberry patch that I've had for a few years was built on these principles. But this is my first year of really implementing no-dig gardening into my garden, actually having no-dig beds. And I have to say that I've been pretty happy so far. This is my waxing crescent no-dig bed. And this summer I had lettuces and herbs planted in. For the fall cropping, I put bok choy. You may have seen that video. I put some more lettuces, and I've harvested out a good bit of the summer lettuce plantings. And I only planted in the summer because we had a really mild summer this year, and I was able to plant these kind of cooler, weather-loving plants. So now it's October of 2020, and I have just gotten in my shipment of garlic. It is time to plant garlic. If you don't have a garden and you want to get started, you can even do this in a container. Garlic is so easy, but it's really important that it gets the right conditions to thrive. As with us all, right? We all need the right conditions to thrive. And that varies for everything in the garden. Garlic really likes a rich, well-drained soil, and a no-dig bed is exactly that. So there's a couple of different types of garlic, and I'll get a little bit closer to you so you can see what I'm talking about. So here we have what I'm going to plant. This is a hardneck garlic, and the variety is called Music, so I picked that for obvious reasons. And you'll find with the hardneck garlics, they do a little bit better in the cooler temperatures. They need something called vernalization. And vernalization is where the seed itself, or the clove in this case, gets some cold weather. It gets to go through some deep cold, and that stimulates production of the flower the next year. Planting in October or in fall allows this clove of garlic to establish itself really well, because it does not like hot weather. Does not like it. So if you plant it in the spring, it's not likely to be established well enough to do well, to thrive. This is just a garlic that we bought at a co-op. It's an organic garlic. So this is a softneck garlic. And softnecks are well suited to warmer climates. They don't really need the vernalization that the hardneck needs. That's to my understanding from the research that I've done. And there's some marked differences between the two. So you'll see how much smaller this fist of garlic is, and how much larger this fist is. Well, one reason is this one was grown in Mexico, this softneck. So that warmer weather definitely allows plants to come to a more full maturity. But the main difference is that this is larger because there's going to be a lot more cloves in here. This hard stem goes all the way through to the root in the hard neck, and in the soft neck that doesn't happen. So there's more room for these cloves to gather around that inner stem. The cloves in the soft neck are going to be smaller, generally speaking, and they're going to be milder. It's a milder taste of garlic, and not quite as spicy. The hard neck is going to give you larger cloves overall, fewer, but the taste is going to be so much more garlicky. And if I'm going to eat garlic, I want to taste it. I really do. I love the taste of garlic. So that's our primary differences. I did some research about planting garlic. There were a couple of different things people said. Some people said it's really good to go way down deep, especially if you live in colder climates. I came across a rule though that I kind of like. It's really easy to remember. It's, if you have a hand, then you have everything you need to plant your garlic. It's basically 1 thumb deep and 1 hand's length away from one another. So if you do that, you're pretty much set. So what I got is I got a bamboo stick. They make these really nice divots that you can buy that are pointy stick with a nice handle on the end, but you know, any stick will do. And I marked it the length of my thumb. so that I know how deep to push the stick in. You'll notice I have all these plants here. Well, the dill is going to finish as the weather gets colder, as will the cilantro. Some of these lettuces will stay, that's fine. Here's a little lettuce that's going to get a lot bigger, so I'm going to make sure to give that some room. But for the most part, I'm just going to interplant with everything I have in this bed. And it's very easy, very simple. So what we do is we peel the garlic back, and some people soak their cloves before they plant, which I can see the benefit of if you're in a warmer climate where you don't get a lot of rain, but here in the Pacific Northwest, I'm not really too worried about this garlic not getting enough moisture by the time it starts to sprout. Here I've got, 5 really nice cloves. So I'm going to give it a little room from both this lettuce that's going to be coming up and from the edge here. I'm going to poke my hole down as deep as my thumb. There we go. And I'm going to kind of give it a little bit of a twirl there, because my stick is definitely not as large as these cloves. There we go. And then it's really important, probably very obvious, to plant the root side down and the shoot side up. Roots down, shoots up. And then I'll just stick that clove all the way down in there and cover it up, put it to bed. There we go. Now I just measure about a hand's length away. I'm going to go to my middle finger, and that's going to be about right there. I'm going to punch it right down in the earth again. And then, again, just make that hole large enough so that I can slide another clove down in there. Very, very simple. Of course, I'll water all this in once I get done planting all of these. So one thing I did forget to mention was that when you're unpacking your seed garlic, and you should get seed garlic because the garlic that you buy in the grocery store generally is sprayed with an anti-sprouting agent, and it probably won't do very well if you plant it in your garden. It'll probably sprout, but the cloves are going to end up much smaller than the seed garlic cloves would, mainly because they're fighting that agent, that sprouting inhibitor. I'm not sure if this is true of organic garlic. You might want to look that up, might want to research that a little bit. However, generally that's the rule. So I also needed to, and you need to if you get seed garlic, go through and kind of pick out the smaller ones. So I've already planted all of my other ones, all the other cloves, and I got 2 here that are just not the same. They don't look the same, as robust and full as the ones that I planted. So I took these out, and I'm going to use these in my cooking. I'll just go ahead and throw them in the next dish that I make. So no problem there. Also, I can expect to harvest my garlic, these hard necks, from October, now planting in October, to about I'd say July. In July they'll probably be ready. So they take a little bit longer, up to about 5 weeks longer than the soft neck, which if I were planting that here now in October, I could expect to maybe harvest those in June of next year. So it's a long game, but it's definitely worth it. And there you have it. Super, super simple. And I got about half the bed. About half the bed has garlic planted, still with some room to interplant other things come spring. So as far as sourcing the garlic, I sourced mine from Territorial Seeds. I love their seeds and have had really good success. I know Territorial has really good results, so, you know, and they had this really beautiful, nice, fat garlic that I wanted to try. However, getting something more local is both gonna save in cost, it's gonna save in carbon footprint, definitely. And it's gonna be garlic that I know grows well in this local microclimate. So here we go, garlic for next year. It's kind of a long-term game. I will let you know how the progress is going through the winter and through the spring. I'll be giving you reports on everything that we've planted for the fall, just to see how it's all doing. And I think that's about it for this this video. Nice little short and sweet video, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you in the comments. If you have anything you'd like to share with me, I'd love to open up that dialogue. If you like what you see, go ahead and hit the like button, and I will see you next time here at SerpentSong Sanctuary. Until I see you again, be nourished, be inspired, and be transformed. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I said not to give